Hi there, good morning. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to 30 minutes of my day. Happy Sunday. I have a sneaky job to do. So you've got to promise not to tell Nancy what I'm up to. Because I kind of made her a promise that I was going to be patient and not start playing around with things, but I can't resist. So, I'm actually going to try my hand. Everything's an experiment and a learning, an opportunity to learn. So I'm going to try my hand at playing with this young lady a little bit more. Because when I saw her, I imagined, that she was this, Victorian young lady, that she's reading this book, and you know what it's like when you're just reading such a good book and you sort of close it up and you lay it in your lap and you go, oh, wonder what it would be like to travel to that place and meet those people and see those things. And that's what I imagined she was doing. But I obviously chose the wrong paper behind her to put behind her. I loved that it said tomfoolery. That still warms my heart. But on this side of the page, it really has some not very nice words that aren't uplifting for a journal. Because I thought, well, she does look a little bit tired. She's had a busy day. She's been buried in her books and she's reading and she's feeling a little bit weary. But it goes on to have some, wet blanket, and there's a bit of it over on this side too. So we're going to play with this cover and see if we can cover this up. I was hesitant to do it. I really thought long and hard. I even FaceTimed with Nancy to, do you think I could do it? What do you think I could do? And I think my biggest worry is I don't want to put too many more layers of Mod Podge on this cover, because as I've explained to you, if you do too many layers, it can flake. But there's only one layer of Mod Podge on here. Underneath is gel medium. The top coat is one layer of Mod Podge, and then there's a light spray of aerosol Mod Podge, which is very light. So I think I can do it, especially because I am not going to Mod Podge in here. This is your danger zone in there because of this action. You never want more than one layer of Mod Podge in your shoulder hinge. But over here, I do think I can safely do it. Oh, someone's on my phone. Hold on, let me check and see. Okay. I had to sneeze, so I paused, and then I ended up chatting with hubby, and then I ended up answering a message from my sister-in-law, and now I totally forget where I was. So I'm back in my seat here. So suffice it to say, I was mentioning the other day how I take time to read over, when you use old books, to read over the pages that I choose to keep and reinsert. I try my best, I should say, just to make sure that it's all appropriate. And not that this is inappropriate, but it really isn't something that you necessarily want to be your inspiration for the front page of your journal. So we are going to do an experiment today, and if it doesn't work out, I can still save the text block and move the text block and just make a whole new cover if I need to. And poor little volume 3 will, that's live and learn, right? It's all to learn, and it's all an experiment. So we're going to try it. So today, instead of working on the Peerless Reciter, we're actually going to work on little volume 3 here and get her feeling dreamy again. Or at least, that was what I was going for. Was I imagined her just sort of daydreaming. And so first thing I need to do is I need to, let me find my laptop. It's over here. I need to go into my Etsy account and suspend her because I don't want to start working on her. And while I'm in the middle of completely changing her and giving her a facelift, someone clicks on it and buys her, and then I'd have to message and say, oh dear, she doesn't look the same anymore. She's gonna look mostly the same, but I've got an idea in my head. So hold on, I gotta click on manage, deactivate. You're about to deactivate one listing. Yes, deactivating. All right, and then I will activate you again. Little volume 3, and we will get you looking snazzy. All right, so let me get my laptop out of the way here. And so what my plan is to, let's get those inside, is to do an extra layer of collaging of some, dictionary or encyclopedia type paper. But I do want to make sure, I'm going to have to do this with a text block inside. So I'm going to need to be very careful. So I am going to wrap this text block just to keep it safe so that it will not get, so it won't get any Mod Podge on it. Hold on, let's get the 2 Nanas ribbon is sticking up there. 2 Nanas ribbon, in you go. And in you go. Where's some tape? Tape. No, I'm already at 7 minutes, so I may finish wrapping this. I'm going to pause and finish wrapping this. I don't want to run out of time on this task. I'd like you to be able to watch along with me as I do it, so hold on. Okay, so I've got the text block wrapped. This I'll just be careful about and just make sure I've got it back and out of the way. I don't need to Mod Podge those edges, so we'll be all right. So I pulled out a bunch of books that I thought might be appropriate. I have this book, the Crossword Puzzle Dictionary. I found nothing in it. When I looked up similar words like dream, dreamy, that sort of thing. And this one had nothing. This one, I love this book. This is going to make a fantastic journal someday. It's huge, Universal Knowledge A to Z. And when I looked up dream, there was just a very short little thing on dream, and it was in the wrong spot, because when you want to use a word snippet as a focal point, it needs to be in the right spot. And this, in this case, of course, of all things, dream starts down here and goes on up here. So that does me no good, because I can't get one nice continuous collection of nice words, because you also can get, I can end up with other words around it that again are just sort of, oh, that's not uplifting. This is a cool book. This is going to make a good journal someday too, eh? What a title, Words. That's a great title for a journal. This one's going to be awesome. It's in really sad shape, but this one will be fun. Anyhow, so I looked up dream, and there's a little bit here. There's a little part on dream, dreamer, dreamland, dreamy, which I thought, okay, good. This is, and it's in a good position because they're all together. But if I'm not careful, there's dreadful and there's dredge and dregs. So I put that there just in case. Now here's the one I think I'm going to go with. And this is actually the original book that I pulled this paper from. This Roget's International Thesaurus or Thesaurus, depending on, you know, how you like to pronounce it. And that's where I found it from. Now, this is going to make, I see books and I just want to make journals out of them. I mean, you know me and red journals. I love red journals. This is going to make a beautiful, and I love that it's got round corners. Anyhow, so I think I found what I want to use. Now, where is it? Is that the one? Or is this? I liked love, but I don't think that was the one. But it might be, I might use that on the back because, as I said, I have some on the back that I want to do a little bit here. So I need two. Now, is this one, it's not despair. I don't want to use despair. The opposite, oh, that's right. Here it is. Okay, this is the one I want. So this one has optimist, daydream, ray of hope, be hopeful, encourage, hopeful. That's it. That's the one I want. So let's get this out. And I actually might be able to just use the one page and not need to use this page. So let's take this out. I just want the one page, and I don't mind cutting it out rather than going after the threads. Now, here's my next worry, is the old text ghosting through. So I'm going to have to decide whether I'm going to affix this to another page first before I put it on there, because I don't want it to ghost. All right, let's get these out of here so I've got room. Okay. All right. So this whole side is awesome. And that gives me more than enough. That gives me more than enough to cover up. Now I'm looking, I may have to do a test run to see if this will ghost. And I'm used to doing test runs. When you're a hairdresser and someone comes in with, say they've just been dyeing their hair every color on the market themselves from the grocery store, you don't know what's under there, you know. Let me find, okay, let's use this paper because it's got unhappy words. So say you've got some, you know, someone comes in and says, I want hair like Lady Gaga. But you don't know what they've done to their hair. You don't know whether they've got hair straightener, chemical straightener in there. You don't know how many times they've dyed it, because hair grows 6 inches a year. So if their hair is down the middle of their back, here we go. They could very well, what can happen is hair will finally, sooner or later, after dyeing, it will eventually say, no, I'm done, I'm out of here. And you will get what's called a chemical haircut. And the hair will literally just turn into globby chewing gum. And you don't want to find out that your customer's hair is going to do that when you decide to do, you know, a color correction on her that's 5 hours long and going to cost $400 just to have her hair fall out into the sink when you rinse it off. So you have to do a test spot, and that's what makes it take even longer. So we're going to do a test spot here. So I'm going to put some gel medium down. And I'm just going to glue this on there like that. And then what I want to do is glue the other one in a different direction so that when it's dry, I'm going to see whether we can see that through it. So that's the plan, Stan. So let's just put some gel medium on here because I'm going to use this to glue, and then I will use the Mod Podge again to seal. So let's put this down like this in a different direction and see if it's unpleasant or whether my experiment is going to work. I'm going to keep working over here. I'm going to do it again, mostly because I want to, this part, I've done some ink on it. So I actually, I guess I should have done one with some ink because I'm going to need to cover up ink, distress ink. Oh gosh, let me get this out of the way or I'm going to, I know for sure I'm going to spill something on it and then it's all over but the crying. All right, so let's ink this edge nice and dark. Okay. So let's start over again then, shall we? So thin layer gel medium down. All right, now I want to go in the opposite direction and see if it shows. Through. So I want to see that edge. You know what? Oh, I'm very hopeful. It's not too bad. Both of them. All right, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, dry this. Oh gosh, I'm at 17 minutes. I could possibly need to do 2 videos today because I'm not going to shortchange anyone to watch my experiment here. All right, I'm going to pause. I'm going to go wash my brush. I'll be right back. Not sure what I was thinking. I don't need to wash this. I can just wrap it in plastic because I'm going to be using it in a few minutes. There we go. All right, let's put this aside for now. And get some things ready. So, first thing I want to do is I have a tiny, this out of the way, I have a tiny little bit of very fine sandpaper. So I am just going to rough this up a little bit so that the glue will grab. I don't want to take any chances, and I want to make sure it's well adhered. So just a little bit of sanding. A little circular motion. Okay, I'm going to do the other side because I want to just cover here. I couldn't have picked a worse little piece of sandpaper. I tried to rip it off and it tried to give me a hard time. But I'm not in the mood. I am on a mission here. So I'm going over the edge a bit further because I'm not sure how big the end piece is going to end up being. There we go. All right. All right, so now we can prepare this. and decide how we're going to go about it. Now, for the edges of the pages, I've used the small side of my tear ruler. So that's the first thing I will be doing here. Is right there. I'm going to go down and carefully take that. There we go. Ray of Hope. Yeah, that's the page. Okay, good. You know what? I like that it says personal because a journal is personal. I'm going to see if I can save personal. All right, I need some paper to go underneath just to work on it. Let's see. So that side's rough. I could take it up there and start doing my tear along there. All right, pencil, 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 pencil. Oh, and I also like Optimist. Maybe I could take it there and tear it along there. All right. Because it's going to, I may need to tear bit by bit. Yeah. All right. Let's, It doesn't help. This paper is, what was this book? 1923. It's almost 100 years old. So, yep. Oh, not too often I'm nervous. I was nervous when I did the gold embossing on that, on the Victorian Reader. Oh, that was nerve-wracking. But there's also a little thrill to it too, eh? Oh gosh, I sound Canadian. That's all right. Us Canadians, we're optimistic. All right, that's good. All right, I like that. Now, see how I did the pencil mark just so that I sort of have a little glimmer of where I want to go with my tearing. And then you can move your tear edge so that you can, even though this isn't a natural tear, I'm controlling it. It's a controlled tear. It can still help it to look casual. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. So I'm going to go all the way down because I'm going to need some of this to go on the back page. There we go. All right, now ink time. Let's see how this is drying. There's a tiny little bit of ghosting. That's still really soaking wet. We'll keep going. Now, if I recall correctly, with this one, I think I gently used a makeup brush, but I want to erase my little pencil marks. Okay. And then I didn't, oh yeah, I did do a bit of pencil down here. Oh. All right. I wonder if I want to use this though along this edge. I want it nice and dark. But you have to be careful or else it can just crack and break. Some paper is just not the quality that other paper is. For example, yesterday when we took apart the Peerless Reciter, that paper is quite nice. It's still quite strong. It's not mushy. It hasn't absorbed any kind of musty smell. For how dreadful it looks, the paper inside is quite nice. It's going to give me a lot of opportunity for fun. But this one, it's very common, I find, in old encyclopedias, dictionaries, thesaurus, that because they want to be able to cram in as much information and paperwork as possible, they'll use extremely thin paper. Bibles too, because you're going to try and fit in hundreds of pages into a more compact area. Now here's where you have to be careful, because it's so easy to flip up and crack and move the edge of your paper. I want it nice and dark because I'm hoping it will distract if there's any ghosting of the other side trying to show through. I'm hoping that a nice bold distressed edge will be where your eye wants to gravitate to. Alrighty, how are we for times? Yeah, look at that. This is going to be an hour long for sure. So I'm being so gentle. I do not want these little corners to suddenly flip up on me. So you can't feel the pressure I'm using. It's light as a feather. And maybe we'll just give this old girl a color correction, as we say in the hair industry. Gosh, us hairstylists, when the teenagers were going through that goth period where they were all running to the drugstore and buying jet black dye and doing their hair jet black, and then eventually their mother, and they'd re-dye it again over and over and over, and then they'd finally have had enough, and their mothers would march them in and say, "Can you strip this out of my daughter's hair?" And of course their hair is like down to the back, middle of their back and longer. And, so then you have to explain to them, you can't cover up black. You have to remove it. It has to be stripped out of the hair, and it's harsh on the hair, very hard on the hair. And like I said, 6 inches a year. So think about it. If your hair is, say your hair is 24 inches long, the ends of your hair are 4 years old. They're old. And they're dead. They just naturally are dead, just like fingernails. That's why you can cut your fingernails and they don't hurt, because that part of your nail is dead. This part's alive. Down here, the matrix is alive. That's why it hurts. If you've ever had false nails put on and they've drilled through your nail bed and ouch. Yeah, that part's alive. This part of your nail, that's dead. You can cut it, doesn't hurt, it's dead. All you can do is prevent damage. You can't restore it. So to get that black out safely and not have the hair look like hay or have a chemical haircut in the sink. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't mind, because we're going to start again. Where am I at? I am at 29 minutes. All right, restart. Pause. All right, so I've been yammering on about hair. You signed on today to watch me work on this young lady and have her be a daydreamer. And I'm going on about hair and how much work it was during the goth period. Glad that's over. That was awful. Anyhow, okay, I am going to pause here. Well, not pause. This is going to be part one. Part two should be after this one, so just watch for it. And those of you who are so wonderful and constantly say, "I'd love an hour," today, I think you're going to get at least an hour. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Hold on.